never started paying attention to politics until human fucking rights were at risk. I really can't believe that this is the world that we're living in, but it's also the only one that I've ever known. Kind of creepy. Okay, so Trump decided to announce a national emergency today over the fucking border wall. Now, he's not doing this because there's an actual emergency, which we can tell from police statistics and FBI statistics that there is not. No, he did it because Congress didn't give him the $5.7 billion for his wall. So now he says, no, I'm going to take the $1.3 billion that you said you would give to me, and I'm going to call a national emergency so that I can get an additional $8 billion. I've been watching a lot of history on how Hitler rose to power. And you know what? There's a lot of fucking similarities. Like, a lot of similarities. Like, it's fucking scary how many similarities there are. Let me just go over, a brief synopsis of, Hitler coming to power. So he started by causing widespread terror of communism. So big scare on communism. Big scare on socialism right now. He really was not largely popular in the beginning of his race. So the way Hitler got popular with his base was he was a really, really good public speaker. He would tell lies to spread his rhetoric. He would make his statements really simple to understand. I'm going to create jobs, I'm going to have a really bright future for Germany, and we're gonna make Germany great again. Make the country great again. Who does that sound like? And I know that Trump's base is not that large, but it was large enough to get him elected. So Hitler used the latest technology of the time to better communicate with his people, his supporters, which at the time was radio. Now the latest technology is the internet. And what does Trump spend 90% of his time doing, or like all of his fucking executive time, which we found out makes up like 60% of his day? Posting on Twitter, ranting on Twitter, denouncing the media, the press, his opponents, anyone who fucking challenges him on simple statistics that we have facts to back up. And he says, no, that's fake news. That's fake news. So Hitler was really, really good at doing big speeches and rallies, kind of like Trump, and getting his supporters really riled up and angry and stimulating their emotions. And he would direct that at his chosen scapegoat, Jews, or in this case, illegal immigrants, or Muslims. The attempted Muslim registration ban. Thank God that one was stopped. And the scary part is not necessarily what he's doing currently, because everyone still thinks that he's an idiot and, for the most part, still believe in logic, until you go to one of his rallies and they're chanting, lock her up, build that wall, fake news, and they started attacking members of the press. Freedom of press. It's the First Amendment, man. The First Amendment. Is that really so hard? You're so gung-ho about the Second Amendment, but you can't remember the first one. Really? The thing that scares me right now is that Trump doesn't even seem to care anymore. He doesn't seem to care about the fact that he is lying constantly and presents his delusions as fact, and refuses to acknowledge when there are statistics and reports from our own country's intelligence proving him wrong. And he says, no, the FBI is wrong. You guys need to go back to school because you're wrong, and everyone is wrong except for me and my followers. That is dangerous thinking. Now Trump is trying to undermine Congress. Just skirt around them. That is some dictator type shit. That is some fucking authoritarian type bullshit. The fact that he's constantly firing his staff, the fact that he's constantly trying to get as many of his supporters in the job and in office to back him up as much as possible. This is why we have checks and balances. It really is, so that presidents can't enforce their own agenda when it's not a fucking emergency. The way that Hitler actually took power in his government, because his officials were actually wary of him and stuff, and so they invited him as chancellor because they thought he was, less scary than the communist far lefts. They thought he was the lesser scare there and more controllable. And when there was a fire on a political building, Hitler used that to his advantage to call a national emergency. So he used that emergency power to pass laws to denounce freedom of the press, freedom of expression, and freedom to assemble. Just have so little hope for the world at this point. So another thing that Hitler used his granted emergency powers to do was imprison his political opponents and later execute them. Hitler got his army to pledge loyalty to him, not to the country, not to the people, to him. What has Trump done? He has promised to make America great again. He has promised to build that wall and get illegal immigrants out of our country and stop Muslims from coming in and take back all our jobs from the immigrants who are stealing it. No. Do you want to know why there's so few jobs in this country right now? It's because corporations, the big billionaires that Trump just gave all those tax cuts to, is that they are trying to cut every corner to make as much money as possible and fuck us over as much as they legally can get away with. That's why you have Amazon making record highs while they have employees who are on fucking food stamps. That is bullshit. I have a list here. 10 steps to go from democracy to a dictatorship. First, destroy labor unions so people have no way to bargain for higher wages and less capacity for political organization. Living wages are non-existent. Your insurance is reliant on you having a job. That is bullshit. It shouldn't be a question whether or not someone has the right to go and get health care when they have cancer, or to have a place to live that isn't their fucking car because housing prices are so goddamn high. Crack down on college students so they won't oppose you. Hint, burden them with so much loan debt that they don't have the time to find good enough jobs. They don't dare rock the boat because they're busy trying to survive. That's what I'm living through right now. Undermine public education so people are less able to think critically for themselves. The fact that he's insulting our national intelligence agencies and saying they need to go back to school when he can't even use the right there in a tweet or spell the word hamburger, I think we really know who needs to go back to school in this situation. Cut deals with rich business executives and billionaires that if they back you, you'll reduce their taxes, slash government spending on the poor, and eliminate regulations that impinge on their profits. Tax cut bill, which we're only now starting to see the effects of on our end, being lower to middle class. And some of his supporters are starting to see that they're getting charged a lot more money, so there's more economic stress. Meanwhile, all of the Fortune 500 companies are getting massive six-figure tax cuts. Amazon got $129,000 tax rebate, and they didn't spend $1 in federal taxes. Make most people economically anxious, frustrated, angry, or insecure. Now the middle-class white suburban families are starting to feel that too. You know, like the ones who voted for Trump. They're all angry on Twitter. Convince them that their problems stem from them, foreigners, immigrants, racial or ethnic or religious minorities, or intellectuals. Muslim ban and Muslim registration that he attempted in 2017, that kind of bullshit. He wanted to register them for no reason other than the fact that they're practicing Muslims. Do we or do we not have freedom of religion in this country? Again, First Amendment. And then we've got the illegal immigrants. I saw a news post today about 2 Latino women in Colorado. They were requested to show identification from Border Security, Border Patrol, because they were speaking Spanish in a store and they were Latina. That's it. That's fucking it. It is not illegal to speak Spanish and be Latina or Latino. That is racial stereotype and profiling. We're already locking minorities up in camps. We already have an over-militarized, violent police force. Make them cynical about democracy. Isn't that kind of what he's doing with this executive order, national emergency? He didn't like that Congress told him no, so he says, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway? Convince them that all they need is a strong man who will fix everything. I'm gonna make America great again. I'm gonna do all of the things, pass all of the bills and the laws, and we're gonna do everything to make America great again. America is so hot right now. We're in better condition than we've been in years. Fill the airways with big lies. Well, that's Fox News, who likes to support every single thing that comes out of his mouth. You know, as long as it's racist and sexist and taking away rights from minorities. And putting money in billionaire pockets and millionaire pockets like the hosts on Fox News. They're millionaires. They're in the same fucking excessive wealth club that Trump is in. Of course they want to focus on passing shit to give the wealthy more money. And lastly, get elected and then take over. Well, he's already elected, and he's already trying to do everything he can to undermine Congress now that they're not eating out of his hand like they were the past 2 years. I have no patience for this regime right now. Now, I'm going to go slightly off topic here and stop talking about America for a second and talk about China. We're still on the topic of referencing Hitler. I cannot believe I have not seen more about in the media is that there are internment camps detaining 800,000 to 1 million people in China. Do you know what they are? They're racial and religious minorities. They're called Uyghurs, who are Muslim practicing people who are annexed into China. They're being detained for things as simple as having a beard, for practicing religion. And they are being tortured and no one is fucking talking about it. There is potential genocide on a massive scale. Potentially 1 million people in China of a racial minority. That is terrifying. I can't believe that this is being allowed to happen. And that's why I can't stay quiet about this anymore. That's why we really need to stand up and say, no, we're not gonna let you fucking go around Congress. We're not gonna let you abuse the executive branch of power. We're not gonna let you abuse that. That's bullshit.